Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
And a very, very warm welcome to you on another empowering morning conversation. Today, I was reflecting on something which I learned a long time ago, and I've shared it with you many times. And that's about communication, that communication can resolve any issue in life. Okay. And communication begins with the willingness to accept another person's point of view without changing it. So let me repeat this. Communication can resolve any issue in life. And communication, when does communication begin? It begins with the willingness to accept another person's point of view without changing it. It does not mean that you have to do what they say. It does not mean you don't do what they say. It does not mean that you have to agree with what they say. It doesn't mean you don't agree with what they say. It simply means that you are willing to accept another person's point of view without changing it. And if you are willing to accept another person's point of view without changing it, the only way you can do that is by deep listening. And today, I have the pleasure of welcoming a very highly accomplished person from Chennai, whom I have known for a very short time, but every time I interact with her, every time I listen to her, I'm quite impressed by her grasp, by her understanding, and by her knowledge of topics which are quite similar to the ones that I talk about. So it's my great pleasure and honor to welcome Indu Bhavanesh, and she's going to talk to you and coach you on communication. So let's put our hands together and welcome Indu. Good morning, Indu. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence.
It's entirely my pleasure.
Yeah, so the floor is yours.
Everyone.
Now you are a co-host, so if you wish to make a presentation also, you can.
I thought I'd go your way. I thought I'll keep it more conversational and experiential as we go forward today. If that is okay with everyone here. Of course, material is a lot of it is available, and I can put out some material for further
Your voice keeps fading away, so just come closer to the mic or whatever it is. You were better off without this headphone, I think.
Is it better now?
Yes, very much.
Okay. Oh, yes. So I was just saying, I intended to keep it conversational today and give them an experiential, understanding of the topic that we are putting out, if that is okay.
Absolutely fine.
Wonderful. So happy morning to everyone here. And firstly, I'll begin offering my gratitude to Sukhdeepak ji. As I mentioned to him earlier, he's one of those generous givers who not only wishes to pass on the knowledge and the acumen that he has to all his committed listeners, and he also encourages others to do that, contribute in each other's lives. And today he has made way for me in that sense. So thank you for that, firstly. And thanks to each of you for taking out time to be here to offer that bit of listening, which is commendable, right? And I know all of you are accomplished in so many ways. And what I might be putting out today might be things that you have come across, things that you already know of. The only thing that I might be able to offer is not what I'm just saying, but I'm sitting here in one form, but I could be bringing you something which my masters passed on, which all the books that I have read, could offer. The luxury of some bit of tweaking, or all the research that I have done, the people that I have seen in my clientele, what I have learned and picked up from them. So it is all of that would be coming your way. So even if there's one thing that you could use to turn your life around in some ways, and I will feel my job here is accomplished today. So as you heard me the last 1 minute, just take a moment to see what's running in your head. We could go into the session right away with that. I'm just giving about 30 seconds. What is it that's playing out in your head right now? And I'd encourage you to, take a moment to even pick up a journal. It's not note taking, but it is noting down your observations, right? To watch your internal processes rather in your head, you put it out and watch it. So if you have a pen and paper by your side, I'd request you to note down, what is that voice saying? I'm sure so many of you are so well accustomed to the fact that you're hearing something from Sukhdeepak ji. You're learning. You're imbibing what he has to share and offer every morning. So there is a reference point. I can understand if that is playing out, right? If there's some voice that's saying, what is she doing? Do I know her? Do I not know her? Do I get to know her? Is she having something worthwhile to offer? It could be anything. If you're hearing something like that, put it out. Is this going to be useful? Am I going to gain something? Whatever it is, put it out. And I will tell you why. Because as we move forward, if you're keeping it in your head, it's coming in the way of your, pristine listening. You're going through that filter. The listening is going through that filter. And either your mind is tricking you to conform to that voice. Yes, I thought so. This may not be that good. Or you're tricking yourself to prove against that. No, I thought it was this, but it happens to be better off. So there is this internal process which is parallelly happening as we are listening, not just to me today, but this is what is going to happen in your world outside. Whenever you are faced with someone, whenever you are engaging in a conversation with someone, do you notice this happening? A part of you is saying something like a hypothesis, we may not be the scientists who technically put it out, but we always have this what she's saying is right, or what he's saying is right. And then we are listening to the rest of the conversation, either to prove that right or to prove it wrong as an anti-hypothesis, right? And whatever it is detrimental to the quality of the otherwise rich conversation that you can have. Give it a thought. Brilliant. I know everyone's dealing with different stuff in the morning. If you come on camera, it would be great, because we're just about to, have a flavor of what we're talking about, right? Come on camera, even if, thank you. So just look at yourself. We're going into an activity right now, okay? Just look at yourself. So I hope you grabbed your pen and paper. Just give me a thumbs up if you have. Yes, some of you have. Yes. I'd like you to pin yourself, your video on your Zoom app, right? Go ahead and pin your app, your video, right? If you've done that, we're going to have 30 seconds now, right? Note down your observations. Go ahead and just note down your observations. Yes. Yes. Will you all need more time, or have you found enough sufficient time to capture what you got? I might want one or two of you to, respond, unmute your microphone and respond. See, I'm not that great at mind reading, to know if you're done. So help me. Are you all done? Some thumbs up, some nodding.
No, I've not done anything, ma'am. I didn't understand what exactly you're asking us.
Okay. Classic example. Please ask. You said you didn't understand, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you notice that this could be happening in your real life as well? As you talk to your partner, your children, your neighbor, your boss, this can happen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what would you do in those instances if you didn't get them, if you didn't get that conversation? What would you do?
I'll clarify our loss once again.
Yes. So exercise that right freely, even now, right now, right? Ask. So remember, Shiv Prasad ji, not just for you, you might be helping so many other friends of us here when you ask, right?
Yes,
So thanks for saying that. So now let me repeat it. So the exercise that we're doing right now is look at yourself in the camera, right now on your screen. That's why I said it can help if you pin yourself. As in, if you go to the application around next to your video and say pin, so it blows up, right? So look into your face and you will have some observations coming up, right? Note them down. Am I clearer now?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, brilliant. So even if you're not on camera, use your own phone's camera, or on selfie mode, or use a mirror if you have one next to you. Look into your face into that mirror. Look at your face into the mirror. Observe for 30 seconds. And then write. We'll give Shiv Prasad ji the time that he needs to come back, do that exercise. Meanwhile, if any of you have done it, you could just raise your hand, either literally or using the reaction button. Yes. Neeti ji, if you're ready, would you like to put out, if it's okay, 1 or 2 points of your observation? And I also see Konan ji, if you're willing to put it out, please do after Neeti ji. And I know some of our friends just joined. While they are putting out, we are doing an exercise here where we will be looking at ourselves either on the mirror or the camera on Zoom or your phone. Make some observations and note it down. That's what we are doing. Yes, Neeti ji, please go ahead.
My observations are exactly to my feelings: sleepy, swollen face, and not focused eyes. That's all I see. Yeah.
Okay. So we are just having that, right? Sleepy, swollen face, and
not focused eyes.
Not focused eyes, right? So we'll just stay with that for a bit. We'll just go around here, collect some more and come back, right? Yes, Konanji, please go ahead.
Yeah, for me, ma'am, it was, you are looking great, ready to rock another day, make a difference in the life of self and others, contribute to the humanity.
Sweet of you to say that. Thank you. We'll stay with that and we are coming back, right? Now, Shakti, I see your hands raised as well. Can you please share?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sorry for that. I didn't switch on the video.
Don't be sorry. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. When I did this exercise, first thought is coming into my mind is, okay, whether I blur the video. Since I'm in the public transport, I don't want to show others.
Okay. Okay.
That is the one it's coming up. Then I was feeling like, yeah. Another thing, I don't know how to pin in the mobile phone when I'm doing that.
Okay.
The second thought is coming. Okay. After this conversation, I need to learn how to pin when I'm using the mobile device.
Okay. Okay. Yes. We'll stay with that.
Third one,
Go ahead.
Third one, it's coming. Yeah. Third one, it's coming up. Okay. Out of this exercise, what she's trying to tell me.
Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant. So we have thanks for sharing that, Shakti. And we'll take one
Thank you.
more. We'll take Shiva Prasadji's sharing, and then we'll look into what are the implications out of this exercise. Yes, Shiva Prasadji, go ahead, please.
Ma'am, I have seen myself because I have not shaved my beard for the last 2 days, so
Mm,
felt bad about it.
mm,
I'm also looking a little serious.
mm.
These two my observations.
Thank you for sharing both of them. Yes. And as we begin, I'd just like to ensure others have put it out in your journal. Have you recorded what you observed? I'd urge and invite all of you to do. Otherwise, we are talking all fancy stuff on the outside. Only when we go through the process, we get to experience what we are receiving, right? So it's for you. It's not about me. It's not about others, what you take in, right? So internalization happens when you allow yourself to experience whatever is happening, right? Now, I'll begin with Shiva Prasadji's and then we'll go over, okay? So in his sharings, he said something. Can one of you just quickly repeat what he shared? Quickly, right?
Can I?
Yeah, please.
He talked about not shaving for the last 2 days, and
Yeah.
he talked about looking very serious. And
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
and his tones conveyed that he's not very happy with either of them.
Yes, you're right. You're right. He said, okay, yes, thank you, Nitiji. Just a second. Now, this is for everyone to watch, okay? And before that, it's not a disclaimer, I'm saying this directly with the intention of, making this work for all of us, making this time that you spend, these couple of minutes, worthwhile for all of us here, right? So anything I might be saying in this session, it is not to put out anything, pull anyone, point out anything, no judgments, no evaluation, no assessment. It's only from a space of how we can keep what's working for us, how we can discard whatever is not working for us, how we can reduce whatever is unworkable for us, and how can we acquire some new skills that can help us get better. Only these 4 intentions. Are you all game? Right? So now with Nitiji, I know the sport that she is. I'm just mentioning this can happen with anyone, all of us, right? Of course, she mentioned that he said, it looks like he looked at his beard and it says he's not shaved for a couple of days, right? And then did you notice the process? She had jumped to the next one. I'm looking serious. In between, he said something, right? He said, and I'm feeling very bad about it, about not having shaved, right? Of course, she came around to put it, right? Are you all with me? If you want me to slow down, I will, right? You just have to ask. I will slow down. Of course, I will. Yeah. Thank you, sir, for giving that input as well. So if you notice her process, she went to the next point. However, she caught herself, I'm sure, that she missed something in that conversation and then went and caught up with that and put that out. Did you all notice? How many of you all noticed that? Just raise your hand or thumb reaction button, something, right? Which was great, isn't it? Just virtual clapping. She did that. She caught all of that, right? Just a follow-up. Did you notice a slight variation in capturing that or in presenting that? Did you notice a slight variation? What was that? Nitiji, before you could put it out, can we have any other friend put that out? Anyone else? I'm not too good at reading silences, So you'll have to tell me whether you're processing or you didn't get it, or you are doing somebody else a favor by allowing them to answer. What is it? What's your process? Shiv Prasadji, even you are welcome to share if you captured what I'm asking.
No, she missed that I am feeling bad. That's the only thing. That's what I observed.
Okay. So we take that. So others might say, yeah, no, she said that. How many of you say, no, she said that, she mentioned that? Raise your hand. Okay. So Shakti says she got it. So what's the difference? She said it. Okay. Just for want of time, I am, making this crisper, right? Otherwise, we could go on to observe the processes. Yes, she said that, which is true. Perhaps no, she missed it, as Shiv Prasad ji is claiming, which is also true to some extent. You know why? Anyone, brownie points to anyone who captures. Make it quick, because just because, Sukdeepak ji has given me a ration time of just a couple of minutes, water you can use as much in the kitchen, maybe not ghee or.
She hasn't given that importance to the feeling, how much he feels bad about it.
That's your observation or your interpretation?
My observation.
Your observation. Okay. However, that's your interpretation. Will you agree if I say that's your interpretation?
100% I agree.
I think she felt some amount of it, what he felt, right? Because she said, I felt that he thought that he was not feeling happy about it. Just for want of time, I'm bringing. Do you notice that variation? He said, I feel bad about it. And she said, he's not feeling happy about it. Just go back, check the recording sometime when you're free. You notice it's not in fact, we might advocate this when you have a client and you want to reframe the state of mind. What Neeti ji did is great. It's wonderful to do that, right? Even when someone puts out, expresses something in shades of negative, seemingly negative words, it helps to reframe it in the positive, saying, if someone says, I'm feeling low, and you're saying, what is it that's not making you feeling upbeat? It's good to reframe, as long as you're doing that mindfully. If you're doing that with purpose, it is great. To switch that person's state of being, it's great. Or you want to filter it for your own good, you want to hear better things, you want to reinforce better things, which is all great. But if it happened from a space of not mindfulness, but my way of being, that I interpret things, choose to interpret it in the way I want to, because of my material, because it's bad, I'm not happy with that. Therefore, I replace it with, I'm not happy. Just watch your internal processes. And this, my friends, is the reason why Shiv Prasad ji feels she has missed it. Are you all capturing this? So it's not about what he said. It's not about what Neeti ji missed. No, this is your life, right? So you're talking to your spouse, you're talking to your son, you're talking to your mother. And sometimes, have you come across this? You don't understand me. You don't get me. You're not there with me, right? You got it all wrong. Or you missed it. You never heard. But you're saying, no, I did understand. I got it. I also, put it out. This can make knots in the relationship. And the moment you begin to stay with the other person's process, you begin to unknot, straighten it out. Simple. Yeah.
This is just a quick doubt. Is it something like I am being true to my feeling? Like if I don't feel little comfortable, I should immediately shout it out. Otherwise, because all the time we do suppression. My personal talk, when you say this to my friend and my wife and all, it's all the time I only suppress it. I'm not expressing my feeling. No, what you're saying is wrong. I am feeling something else. When you say I'm feeling something else.
Yes.
Something.
See, we'll come to that. But here it's not that. She's not clearly suppressing what he wants to say.
Okay.
She has interpreted it, given a different color to it.
Got it. No, I'm getting it. Thanks.
Right. So, Neeti ji, yes, there's something you want to say?
Yes, I wanted to ask you something. Now, here I was going through all the 3 points. One, when I was summing it up, I wasn't sure whether I should be picking up on the personal or the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
2, yes, it is, I've become a little more aware that I choose to rephrase it in a slightly different manner instead of, feeling bad. I feel that is a very negative thing to say to yourself, a negative emotion.
Yes.
Third, my question is, See, when you are having a family interaction, a personal level interaction, picking up the emotions is fine. But when you're having a corporate interaction, in that also picking up and addressing this emotional, uh, the emotions being conveyed, is that also important in corporate exchange, official talk?
Nitiji, I'm sure you know the answer already. It's the same person you take wherever you go, isn't it?
See, but my question is in for a corporate exchange, you're looking at the work. The work output is the prime.
Hmm.
And emotions really, if you look at the corporate structure, they say emotions don't have a place here. You have to look at the work. What is the work entail?
I'll just address that bit. Just give me a second before that.
Sure.
Firstly, we are going to address that question, but I want to clear this was never about picking up the emotion. No, the exercise was as plain as repeat what he said. That's all. So
Okay.
you chose to pick emotion and or give it weightage. Or Vetri said, Vetri just said, he got into his world of do I suppress? Do you understand the different processes?
Okay. Yes. Okay.
So the idea or the point of the exercise was never to pick up the emotion.
Mm.
It is only staying with the person, offering listening. I communicate that I listened to you. Hello, yes, I heard you. I listened, I stayed. So you are reflecting what you want to reflect at all times.
Mm.
And the speaker is expecting to be listened to in the way he's sharing. That's the gap we are looking at here in this exercise.
Okay. Okay.
Right? And yes, Sukti, please go ahead.
See, I'll remind you, communication begins with the willingness to accept another person's point of view without changing it. All
Yes.
right. So you're picking up the words, you're picking up the emotions, and we are, giving evidence that we picked up all this by acknowledging it. Otherwise, how do you know that you picked up somebody's point of view? You don't know. Am I right, Indu?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes. So Nitiji, I'm just stay with it if it's still, there. What you're asking about corporate, we will have some amount of discussion at the end of it. But right now the exercise, otherwise I'm sure other friends might get confused what this exercise was about. It was not about the,
Sure.
entirely that, right? We just come back to it. Please give me some. And I'm just quickly going over the other friends here. Okay. Look at your observation, look at your interpretation when you say something, right? Now, Konenji said again, the activity was the same for everyone to notice, look at you and note down your observations, right? He was very generous in acknowledging having me here and my presence here, right? But you notice that he put out what he wanted to put out. He sharing, if you go back and look at his sharing, he shared what he wanted to share, right? You notice that? Kunenji, did you also notice your process?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you were being a very gracious host. I appreciate that. Definitely, yes, right? So I'm just giving everyone because we are dealing with whatever we are dealing with, and we come from that space of offering responses. That's what I want everyone to get here, right? And of course, Shakti put out that she's traveling. She might not be able to come on camera. Again, the idea was not to come on camera, was to look at her face in her own, selfie mode, whatever it is, and note down. Of course, while traveling, that might be a challenge. I get that. And then she was very nice to put that out, right? State it authentically, that I was wondering, what are you going to offer in this session? That spoke about her internal dialogue about me, right? She was evaluating, judging, whatever you could call, right? And this was never about me. It was about her. And again, Vetriji's response, right? So just for want of time, we are moving, right? This can happen in your real life. So when someone asks you, to do A, we are not responding to what A is saying, but we are rather responding from what I perceive what A is saying. If any of you want to add your bit or clarify or seek any further clarity, please ask, right?
It's very true, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm glad you got it. Right? Just a bit of elaboration for some of our friends. You know, if there is someone asking you, right? Do you have money? And just imagine this is your sibling, your spouse, your son, adolescent, daughter, your colleague. Plain conversation, as simple, right? As this, just these words. Do you have money? Do you have money, Lena? Do you have money, Thomas? Do you have money, Shakti? Do you have money, Abu? Do you have money, Vetri? They're asking that, right? Do you have money? Can one of you answer? What's in your head now?
I am going towards it.
Okay, we noted that. Venkatesh ji, Hasina ji, Kuldeep ji, do you have money? I'm not asking you, right?
Yes, I do.
Brilliant. Now, imagine this is your partner, your boss, your neighbor knocking on the door. What is the time now? 7:30. Your neighbor's knocking, right? Asking, do you have money? Niti, do you have money? Kamal, do you have money? Arvind? What are you hearing?
Why she is asking money? She will take money from me.
Yes. She just asked, do you have money, right? So the answer is as simple as I have, I do not have, I have some of it. And I'm sure at all points you have some of it, right? So Vetri just answered, I'm going towards it, right? Did you answer to do you have money or to some 2-3 other questions that came in your head? What did you answer to, Vetri?
I answered to my question, not your question.
So what was that question? Can you give, if it's okay, can you?
It's about, she's trying to understand or my understanding about money reality of my current, something like that.
Do you see that? So he has grandiose money. Go ahead. How can the conversation be complete if you didn't share on a lighter note? Please go ahead.
Instead of I listening to you, I allow you to speak something else in my own head and I'm listening to that.
Yeah. In fact, you're not allowing me to speak something else. It is somebody. It can be your parental voice. It can be your parents' voice. It can be your mentor's voice. And after a point, you replace that person with your own voice. There is a voice in your head which is talking like your dad. Have you got enough? You have common sense. How can you even claim that you have enough money? You have miles to go before you make that mark. And when you go there, you have another target. And that's why you're saying I'm going towards it. Do you get that? You sure do have money, right? Whatever the denomination is, you have. But you see where you are answered from. So Hasina ji said yes. Yeah. So we might want to know, where she answered that from. If she stayed in the present here and now and answered, fabulous, nothing like that. You have money? As simple and straightforward as that. I have money, that's all. I don't know. We might be curious to ask her, did she even go processing next? Why is she asking me this question? What's the exercise going to be? Or what is this person wanting from me? I don't know if she went into those. Right? You might want to tell us at some point later, Hasina ji, what was your process? So, and we might want to imbibe that.
Okay.
Right. So, Kunanji, yes, he gave us another flavor, didn't he? When someone asks, why do you have money? So again, now you know what the response could be, but it is like, oh, now if I say this, yes, she might borrow. And she might borrow and not return. I might as well say no, or I might escape, I might run away. I could say anything. And in real-time situations, what can be some of the responses? Why do you want to know? Why should I tell you? That is not answer to the question, but that is answer to all the dialogues that you are having, sequence of dialogues which are following that one statement, isn't it? Did you give me the way you're asking me with so much authority, as if you have filled my, treasury. You could be responding to all of that, right? Venkatesh, you have something to share right now? Do you want to say something? I see your hand raise button. Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Actually, money is basic thing like food, other things and all, which is one always preoccupied with.
Okay.
Like there is a thought, unless you are very, very comfortable, there's a thought in your mind, thought process, that which is always like somebody has asked you money, or you want to ask someone or something like that. There's a chain of things which is there. So the basic status is, ma'am, whether I am comfortable.
Yeah.
And someone drops on your, means calls you and throws you a question. Basically, the problem thing is with me.
Yeah.
With me, it's like, I am comfortable, like how much?
Yes.
How much?
Brilliant.
The thing is,
Brilliant.
I don't, first thing itself is, I know that I have this much of money now.
Yeah.
Like if I have in my pocket, say about 2,000-3,000, like that, means the immediate question is not that what to reply or what biased or anything. The basic question is whether I have and how much I have. That thing is like today morning, like something, I am going somewhere. Money means whatever, wherever the money is asked.
Yeah.
Like whether you have to pay the grocer or whatever,
Yeah.
whether you have money or you are going to pay Google Pay.
Absolutely right.
So in that present context, know that this thing, first thought which comes to me is whether I have money or not about whether I am giving or doing something.
Yes.
The reactions about that person, bias about the thing.
Yes.
All
Thank
the other
you.
dimensions.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yes. See, we got another flavor, right? Where another person would operate from, right? Thank you for saying that. Now, he said, yes, money, it can be this kind of a tricky concept, right? We all have our belief systems and very solid belief systems about money, right? Now, let me ask something else. As simple as how are you? Right? Forget about money, religion, whatever, all of these sensitive, how politically aligned are you, right or left or whatever it is. Yes, you might have one, you might want to say something else. Totally fine. I'm asking you something as plain as this. How are you? Respond to me. How are you?
What's the problem? What you're asking?
See, this can be such a jerk for anybody else, no? Who'd so used to be answering, I'm fine, thank you. Isn't it? That came as a bouncer, isn't it? If you're not prepared for that answer. Anyone else? How are you?
I am excellent.
That's your response. Anyone else? How are you?
Yes, I have an observation. Usually when you're asked something as basic as how are you, the first response is quite unmindful. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Otherwise it is, I'm fine. You might be in 102 temperature, but just that auto response is, I'm fine.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. You made my job easier here, Nitiji. I'm just taking that thread forward. I want to put out this point, friends, here. For something, you all come across this question, how are you? How are you? How are you doing? Right? Something as basic. Just observe your internal process here. This might give you a lead to how you operate in various other. To a conversation as basic and foundational as how are you, we are not present most of the times. Just watch, because we may not be responding to the here and now, being in that moment. How are you? You scan yourself head to toe. How am I feeling right now? And you put it out. It may not be possible for you to do that at some times. You might not be wanting to expose your vulnerability at some times. You may be going through a lot of turmoil inside, but you might not want to tell the other person that you're feeling crappy this morning. You might not want to do that. But are you aware? That's the question. What you want to share is a different discussion for another day, right? That's the speaking. I'm talking about the listening. Are you hearing what they're saying? Like Nitiji has said, default mode. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. How are you? You've skipped, How are you? Someone's asked that. Are you present to that? How am I right now? How am I feeling? Bodily, how am I feeling? Mentally, how am I feeling? Become present. Pick up. That would be the first, step for us to begin. And then Kunal sir just gave us a glimpse into a very confrontational world, right? Someone asks you, how are you? What the dash, dash, dash? How does it matter? Why are you worried? Go mind your own bloody business. I'm dealing with bills. I don't want to answer you. Anything you can get. Isn't it? I'm sorry. I know, I don't know, we can't swear, on public, but you get all of these responses, right? And I'll tell you some of the aunts I meet at weddings, okay? You ask them, how are you? Okay, just get a flavor of this. You didn't bother to know whether I'm alive or dead. This can be a response. You just asked, how are you? With all the love in the heart, you ask, how are you? Yes, yes, sir.
Long time back, in my corporate job, one of our sales guys, little older person, he came to office in the morning. I said, good morning. He says, what's so good about this morning?
I have heard some of these responses. Yes, this can happen. And you can still appreciate that person, my friend, if he was honest about sharing. No, he dropped his mask and he put out something which was far more authentic than being the sophisticated and saying, fine, excellent. If you really felt excellent and you said that, great. You're getting that subtle difference. If you're feeling fine, fabulous, if that's what you want to establish and you're doing mindfully that, brilliant, nothing like that. Even when you're feeling, totally lost and broken inside, and if you want to see, I'm feeling upbeat, great, fabulous. And if you're saying that because you choose to say that, it's still fine, works for you. But if you're saying out of that default mode, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. It doesn't solve any purpose, nor your speaker's time, nor yours. And just watch in a day's time, my friends, how many times you are hijacked by other things that you are not even present to your conversation, something as basic. And someone asks, what's your financial reality? You think you can give out a decent answer? What's your profile? You're sitting in the interviewer's table. People prepare for great conversations, Great conversations don't happen at that moment. If you don't sweat in peace, you're going to bleed in war. Right? You don't go and become that maestro at a concert. You got to practice that 1 hour, do your riyaz every other day if you want to put out that fine performance, right? You can't be an exceptional speaker the day your client comes and sits in front of you. You listen to your mom, sister, dad, brother, your dog every day. That's when you become that fine sportsman, right? Sachin doesn't give his fine shots on that ground on the day of the tournament. He does 10,000s of that in the net practice, that it becomes his reflex, and he puts out that every time a great show that he's on the field. Ask yourself, am I that one playing at the concert, or am I that one every single day? I'm noticing that Ashok ji has raised his hand. Shall we give him a moment to share? Stay with your process. Yes, Ashok ji.
I think good morning or
Good
how
morning.
are you are the type of greetings which expect the person whom we are talking respond something.
Yes.
Whereas the Indian way saying namaskar doesn't expect any reply from the person. It only shows my feeling to you.
Yes.
I think that is far superior than good morning or how are you, how are you feeling, how is the morning. Instead of that, when you say namaskar, it is your feeling to the person and you don't expect any reaction. And my observation is that whenever you say namaskar and greet him with namaskar, instantly there is a smile on the face of the other person.
True that. Yes.
I would say that our namaskar is a far better then putting the other person in a mode of replying something positive, negative, or whatever that is, or keeping quiet. That's my take from these discussions.
Got you. Thank you, Ashok ji, for that sharing. I'm taking that. Thank you, and we'll allow our friends here to process what you're saying. Thanks for sharing. And what is namaste? The highest in me is going down to the highest in you.
Yes, I am offering.
And it would make me that much more nicer if I reciprocated, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing right now. Namaste. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And just thanks, right? We got all of that, what you said. I'm just leaving you with one thought here, right? Everyone else. What he shared is fabulous. If that's where you're operating from, that I'm saying namaste and I don't expect anything in return, nothing like that. So I am being the provider here. Great. The question is everyone that? When you say namaste, inherently there are dozen of us here expecting namaste in return. If that's your process, watch, right? So we'll just move on for want of, I'm just about to give you a couple of these technical stuff right now. Okay, so we got the experience, some of it, right? So I wish we could do more of it, but I'm just keeping the timeline in mind. So I'm just throwing some stuff for you to watch out for, right? When you're listening, let's say you are at work, your daughter, your son has come to you asking for your help for homework. What's your space? Just watch, okay? Are you listening fully, or is there distracted listening there? You're working from home. Your mom comes in, asks you for some help with technology, with buying groceries, chores, anything. Is there distracted listening or full listening? Yes, Hasina ji, were you about to say something?
Distracting
listening. Okay, just note that down. Note literally in your notebook so that you can watch. Okay, now the next few seconds, okay, I'm going into this mode, right? To just cover up some of the stuff that I wanted to offer in the short span. See, if there's a new restaurant in the neighborhood, you go there, they serve you that, some of the stuff is good there. You've heard from your friends, you've read some reviews, you've made your research. When you go there, they hand you out a menu, right? They say, these are the dishes that we have here. This is what we are known for, something like that. So now imagine the next couple of seconds, I'll be putting out something like a menu card for you. Okay, now make your choices as you're listening to me, right? Make those choices. This is something I want to try. Is this something I've had and I'm not really liking? This is more like my go-to. Whatever it is, keep making your choices as I'm putting out different kinds of listening, right? And then make sure you place the order whenever you are at it, right? So I want to offer this kind of listening. If you feel this kind of listening is what I'm doing, I might want to change it. Allow yourself to do that, right? Thumbs up if you're here with me with that. Great. So we began with what Hasina ji just shared. There is distracted listening. So that moment, drop everything, be fully aligned with the person, with your daughter, with your partner, whomever you are talking to. If not, and you might ask me, corporate world, busyness, this, that, I might not be able to listen. Then what do I do? Tell them authentically, you save your relationship. Tell them, I am caught up with this work. Can I deal with this 5 minutes later, 1 hour later at 7 p.m. Works fair enough for you and the other person, rather than you saying, I'll get, and you have no idea what the other person has asked you to do. And relationships go for a toss because of this, my friend. They have spoken to you, you haven't got them. You haven't offered them that listening. This is where upsets set in. Some very, very serious expressions. Is it sitting or is it heavy? Is it rejection? Watch the process. Okay, we'll come back to talk about it, right? I hope you all are with me, right? The next one. So this is all there in the menu. Okay, just look what you're doing. Look at your own process. Someone is saying this. Okay, I am making this much of turnover in this year, right? Your friend, your colleague, your counterpart has said that. What are you hearing? Or I'm getting married to this girl and they have brought somebody to a wedding. Okay, he has brought a dinner. Okay. So he's brought a dinner date. Okay, your nephew, your niece, somebody's brought a dinner date along. What is your listening? When you've seen them, they've said, this is the person, this is my fiance, I'm getting married. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? Just watch. Are you offering blessings, or are you thinking, I don't think this marriage is lasting. I don't think this is taking them too far. Going by the public display of affection, I don't think this will, take our fight for more than few months. Have you heard these dialogues in your head? This isn't a good match at all in the first place. How did she even settle for this guy? Have you heard all of this in your head? Just observe your process. Now that could be mind reading, right? You don't know, but you have just, that could be fortune telling. Sorry, I made a change. You have become a fortune teller that this is not going to work, right? Now we are moving on to the next one. Like the example that we spoke about. Okay, I'm just saving some time. Do you have money? You have already read the other person's mind, thinking that he has come to borrow only. Sometimes they ask, do you have money? I have come across this. My own father, he's asked, do you have money? Because his intention is, if you don't have, I will give you. And I'm wondering, why is he asking this? Is he going to hold me accountable for what I have spent already? Is he going to ask me to put my money somewhere else? All of those interpreted. But the simple intention was, if you don't have, let me know, I'll give you. But I have, mind read that he has come asking for this purpose, that purpose. This can happen in your lives as well, right? Someone asks you are you free on Friday evening? Have you heard this question? What are you doing this weekend? And what are you hearing? So now if I commit to this, I might have to end up going to that lousy party of his. He's going to invite me for that same poker night, which I don't want to go to. He's going to pull me up to the bookstore. I clearly don't want to be there. Anything. So you have read the person's mind, right? So stop that. If it's not serving you, mind reading. You're good at it. You could be great at it. But I'm saying when it comes to listening, listen purely, right? Offer your listening fully. Now, how many times, like at the beginning of this conversation, even now, you could be making so many assessments, evaluations of me as I'm talking. She's half as good as her, not as good as him at all. I get so much from him. I don't know what this is like. Or maybe this is a different perspective. It can be anything in your head which is running parallelly. Good to have it, keep it. But if that is coming in the way of your learning, even one point that I could tell you could help you somewhere, you're missing out on that, my friend, if you're not offering your listening to me, right? In the way it can best operate, right? So judging. Again, when you just these lovebirds, at home, they're saying so many things. Father is maybe needing some medical treatment. Mother is needing some financial help. And you're all caught in your world of building castles of how do I propose to this girl? Daydreaming, right? So the next one, you're daydreaming. It can be anything. It can be about your love interest. It can be about the house that you want to, that spanky bungalow that you want to live in. If your boss is telling you, okay, make this assessment, you're saying, I'm going to this fancy restaurant for the lunch today. You are somewhere else, right? That can come in the way of your listening. Then another thing, as Indians, as people of middle age, wherever we are, we're so used to this. Your son, your daughter, your colleague, your boss, your maid, your help, they're coming to you for sharing something, and you have listened to offer them advice. Some of them who do that also, right? You're saying something and they're ready with their advice. The other person has not sought your advice, your suggestion at all in the first place. They're just wanting to be listened to. I'm going through this problem. Acha, you have diabetes, type 2, type 1, tell me, I'll give you the solution. So they've jumped to the advising bit, and we do it as well. So that hampers the listening. Listen, and then ask, can I? Yes. So also look at one more thing. When somebody is talking, are you placating, pacifying? If they are turbulent with emotions, are you saying, no, it's okay, and normalizing? Watch it. And most important of all, are you derailing? When someone is talking, have you distorted that information? If I allow them to talk, I might have to do this. Therefore, I will hijack the conversation in some other direction, right? Derailing a conversation. Look at all of this, right? Now, one more thing. Why are we doing all this? Let me put that out and wrap this session up, right? Two different reasons that I would say. Firstly, to be in communication is to build a relationship, right? That's our predominant area. We don't operate as islands. We are in this world as a union. Communication is predominant, crucial for that. And an integral part of communication is listening. So offer that and watch your relationships become magically better. And the second thing, what goes around comes around, right? You be that good listener, you get all those good listeners in your life. Your spouse will listen, your boss will listen, your subordinate would listen. So for your own good and make the world a better place. The biggest gift you could give someone is your listening, and get that gift in return. On that note, I'll take leave, and I know I had to answer Nitiji. I'll come around to take it offline, and we'll be all anytime there to get this done.
You can join us tomorrow morning.
Oh, sure.
You're always welcome.
I'll do that. Yes.
All right. So good, Indu. Thank you for a very interesting, very engaging, very useful session.
Thank you.
And why? Because, it is serving the purpose of empowering morning conversations. Conversations can only happen if people listen, right? So just one hack for everybody. I learned this a long time back, I've done these workshops on communication for the United Nations, and we used to always tell them, focus on listening to each word rather than try to understand what the person is saying. So I've trained myself that when people talk, I'm listening to each and every word that the person is saying in such a manner that if they ask me to repeat it, I should be able to do that. Now that calls for a lot of attention and intention to capture the words first. I think a lot of time, if you listen to Indu carefully, you would have realized that instead of listening to every word, we are either interpreting or judging or going wherever we are going because of our internal processes. But what if we could simply focus on listening to every word and capture every feeling that the person may be conveying in words or without words also. So if we can reflect back the words by paraphrasing or by summarizing or repeating back exactly what they said, and a very useful technique sometimes when you cannot give them an answer also, So you can also say, okay, is this what you said? All right, let me think about it. At least they have the satisfaction of knowing that you have gotten them exactly the way they wanted you to get them. And you will find that you will have more meaningful conversations, because right now I'm interested in conversations that we have here. Conversations can create possibilities. Conversations can enhance relationships. And if you follow what Indu said, and I must again acknowledge and appreciate, wonderful session. I feel like inviting you for round 2 to give them more about this communication. We might even ask you to come tomorrow. Okay, so be ready for that. But in any case, why don't you be there with us in the morning sessions?
I'd love to.
I think you'll add a lot of value to it.
I'm sure I could benefit from, being amidst all of you. Just that the catch is, on a very practical note, that's the time I wake my daughter, get her ready, send her off to school. All of that happens is 7 to 8. So it is a bit of that
so then
logistic.
We are then triply grateful to you for taking out this valuable time for us.
Entirely my pleasure.
Thank you, Induji. So,
thank you, sir.
Punanji, how about a share to commemorate this occasion? Don't go yet. He's going to tell you some very nice share. I hope you can understand it.
Of course, I will stay. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Indu ji ke lafzon mein to main gum ho gaya. Share. By the way, is that Indu means Chand in?
Yes, it does. It does. It means
चलिए
moon.
मून
Visited.
एक चांद पे सुनाता हूँ सर।
सुनाइए।
चलो चांद का किरदार अपना लें हम दोस्तों, चलो चांद का किरदार अपना लें हम दोस्तों, दाग अपने पास रखें और रोशनी बांट दें।
वाह 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 वाह।
दाग अपने पास रखें और रोशनी बांट दें।
Wonderful. Wonderful.
इंदु जी।
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Kuldeep ji.
Thank you for saying that. Yes.
Now Kuldeep ji will also tell you his share, and another nugget is coming your way. So let's listen to that.
Something I want to say कि दिन हो या रात हो, दिन हो या रात हो, कैसे भी हालात हो, दिन हो या रात हो, कैसे भी हालात हो सके तो सब्र कर और कर सके तो शुक्र कर।
Wow, fantastic.
Wonderful, yes. And it's such a coincidence. Thank you, Kuldeep ji and Kannan ji. You know why? Because they somehow picked up the essence and reflected two philosophies that I subscribe to. One is to be grateful, whatever comes your way, and be in appreciation. And he said, everyone's comes with a share of flaws, but you choose to put out what you want to put out. That's what Kannan ji said. Thank you. I couldn't have asked for a befitting closure. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And see you tomorrow morning once again for another session of Empowering Morning Conversations. And have a great day. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Stay safe, stay blessed.
Thank you.